but we are going to try to go half hour, 40 minutes max, and then we're going to stay on for Q&A and networking amongst us. So please feel free to stay on even after we're done so that you can ask us questions, or we can kind of just have a virtual networking opportunity with you all, okay? So as I mentioned, this is the very first one that we have of 14. And as a scholar, you will be required to attend 7 sessions. This is one of them. And then you're going to have 3 mandatory, and you're also going to have 4 that you pick from them. Before we go further, I also want to thank the Anderson Children's Foundation. So as many of you guys have experienced, and especially our graduates who are here with us today too, this year has been pretty challenging for many reasons. And the one that we're still going through right now is a pandemic. And so this conference was planned for a day and a half, and it was going to be in person. When the pandemic occurred, we had to reshuffle and we had to create everything virtually. So we're learning with you as you go through this virtual online learning. We're also learning on how to do our webinars and how to bring information to you via Zoom and online. And the Anderson Children's Foundation has demonstrated a great support for you all and for our program. And so I just really want to thank them for that. As we do our webinars and as we move forward, I think it's really important that we remind ourselves and everyone that there's certain webinar etiquettes that we want to make sure we adhere to, especially because now I'm looking at a camera. I'm not seeing your facial expressions. I'm not hearing you as much until I see your chat questions or until we open up the conversation. Some reminders are, courtesy, respect, it's a friendly learning environment. Asking questions is going to be important because I also understand that if I'm the only one talking, it's kind of hard to stay, listening. So please put your questions on the chat feature or on the Q&A. And then if you want to hold some for after the actual content presentation, then please do so. I have our team members going to be managing the chat for us today. So please use those features, but be nice. We also want to remind you that we do have social media presence. And so we want to encourage you, especially the graduates and, the new students to follow us. The graduates, you would follow our official OFCV site now. And the continuing students will do the 2021 scholarship cohort. And then you could follow us on Facebook as well and LinkedIn. Especially LinkedIn, that's one I really want to put out there is make sure that you all have a presence on there for professional development. And one of the sessions that we have this month will deal with LinkedIn and your profile. But before we get into the program, I just, I want to say that we're really excited to welcome new students, welcome renewals back, and actually congratulate graduates. As you all probably have heard, or you've gotten to know us through these years, OneFuture Coachella Valley is really focused on helping students grow academically and professionally. That's our big motto. We believe that prepared students equal thriving communities and economies, and we believe in your efforts, and that is what we work for on a daily basis. And the work that you see today and that you're gonna see throughout the month is really the work of a hardworking team. And what really makes me proud now is that in our team, we have 11 people. And out of those 11 people, we have 4 alumni that used to be in your shoes. And now we call colleagues. So our work is working. And so we hope that as you hear from them throughout the presentation, you're just as inspired as we are by them and what they've accomplished. And I know what they will accomplish in the future. And at this stage, I want to introduce or welcome Eloisa to open up her camera so that she can tell you, part of the work that we do is it involves a lot of hands and it involves a lot of community members. And so we wanted to celebrate the graduates and say congratulations because you've done so well. And we know that you're now going to go and do something awesome in your career, but we also wanted to invite you to stay connected with us and maybe engage in our programs. And I wanted Eloisa to talk about it because she is managing our alumni network right now.
Hi everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Eloisa, and as Christina mentioned, I am an OFCV alumni, and I'm currently working for OFCV. Part of my work is to support our alumni, And it's something that I'm really excited about because almost a year ago, I was in your shoes. I graduated from UC Berkeley and then I transitioned back to the Coachella Valley. So for me, it was really important to reach out to my community, friends, community members that had supported me when I graduated from high school. And so one of those groups was OneFuture. When I moved back, I reached out to them. I met with Christina and Ernie a couple times. They did a good job of making sure that they reassured me that I would find a job here, that they congratulated me and they supported me. And well, now I'm working for OneFuture. So it's really nice to be on the other end now and to be leading this work. And that I hope you all reach out like I did, and so that I can support in whatever you need support with. So I'll mention a couple of those, the couple ways that we can, that we hope to support you all and how you can stay involved. One of them is to connect with us. So in order to support you and know how you would like to be supported, it's important for you to connect with us through social media, through our LinkedIn alumni group. It's a special group that we have for OFCV scholars that have already completed their undergraduate studies. So for those of you that completed the form, you saw a link to join that group. I encourage you all to join. That's where we hope to post job opportunities, events, professional development, resources. And I know also for those that completed the exit form, you talked about needing support with employment opportunities, with mentorship, with professional development. And so I just want you all to know that that is something that we can support you with. So if you would reach out to us, I will be happy to connect you with our business partners or community members that work with OneFuture and are interested in supporting our alumni. Another way you can stay involved is by taking action. And by that, I mean taking action in your community and being leaders here. And one of the ways you can do that is by joining our one of our alignment teams. So these are groups that OneFuture, along with our community members, business partners, the school districts, we all work together to address certain needs. For example, one of them is a financial aid. We have a data alignment team. We have our behavioral health alignment team. And by joining those, you get to meet community members. You get to address a need in the Coachella Valley. If you're interested in doing that, please reach out to me and I can get you more information. And then also volunteering. So during scholarship season, we do look for volunteers to read scholarship applications. And then we have, well, now we don't have in-person events, but when we do get to have in-person events, you can also help us by volunteering, by being speakers in these events, panelists, and then also being engaged is another way to stay involved. And by that, I mean attending our events. So last year we had an alumni mixer, but this year, since the current situation, we won't be able to have an in-person one, but we do hope to have a virtual one and then possibly next year have one in person. And so by attending those events and participating, that's one way to stay involved and engage with us. And then lastly, I would encourage you all to pay it forward. By paying it forward, we don't necessarily mean financial donations, although if you're able to, and I know as recent graduates, sometimes as you transition to the workforce, it might be a little difficult to provide like financial donations. But another way you can do that is just by volunteering your time, if you're working for an organization that would be interested in working with OneFuture or donating to OneFuture, that could also be a way that you can indirectly support our scholarships, our efforts. So those are 4 ways that I encourage you all to stay involved. I also encourage you to reach out to me. As I mentioned, I know what it's like to be a recent grad and to deal with like the post-grad anxiety, and especially now given the current situation. So if you need any support from me, OneFuture, please reach out to me and I'll be happy to support you in whatever you need help with. And so now I'll transition back to Christina.
So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next portion of our presentation, because we promised you that we wanted to have some time to network, and we're about half hour almost. I wanted to bring Ricardo on because Ricardo is also an alumni of our program and now works with us. Ricardo, do you want to turn on your camera and introduce yourself and do our poll question before we jump on to requirements?
Yes, thank you, Cristina. As Cristina mentioned, I'm an alumni of OFCV, and I'm currently working for OneFuture as well. Welcome everyone, and I look forward to working with all of you. To start our webinar, I want to ask you guys a question. Let me just. So how prepared do you feel to commence the 2020 academic year? I'll give everyone 30 seconds to answer, and then I'll share the results.
They're coming in. It looks like we've got 46. Wow, these are coming in fast. 64 out of 103. Wow, good polling. Good job. Yeah, we still have 83%. Come on, guys. We're almost there at 89, 91, 92, 93.
Thank you guys for sharing your answers. Just so everyone could see, these are the results. Thank you, Christina.
So it looks, yeah, it looks like 6% feels very prepared, 45 feels prepared, 45%, 40% somewhat prepared, and then about 3% not prepared. This is a good question, and it's gonna go into, you know, some of the conversation. It's gonna go into some of the work that we're gonna be doing with you this month. For those who feel really prepared, that's awesome. And for those of you who don't feel as prepared, it's okay. This is why we're doing what we're doing. We help each other out, and at some point in our careers or even in our educational journey, we all needed help. And so this is good to know, because you'll be able to learn a lot this next month, and then even hopefully grow further or feel more prepared. And for those of you who are already more very prepared, then it'll just be like icing on the cake. So I also thank you for that poll, Ricardo. And then I also want to transition now into some of the nitty gritty of our scholarship program. So as you may or may not know, we are grant funded. So we have large foundations who support our work, and we match with local partners. And so some of you may have received a scholarship from Carrion or from Women Leaders Forum. Those scholarships are matched by OneFuture. So half of your funding comes from OneFuture Coachella Valley, and half of it comes from our matching partner. When you have this type of arrangement, our funders basically require that we collect information so that they kind of use it in a way to assess where there's gaps, where there's needs, and where they can continue to help. And so as Fatima, I'm going to introduce Fatima now, talks to you about the requirements. They may seem like a lot, but some of the renewal students are on right now, and they can share it's not once you get used to doing it, and then once you get to meet with us. But I wanted to say that because it's really important that you guys do your part so that you can continue to leave this opportunity open for future students in the Coachella Valley. So Fatima, do you want to go ahead and join me now so that you can go over the requirements that our students will need to complete in order to have their fall disbursement?
Yeah, Christina, thank you. And if we can go to the next slide, Christina. So hello, everyone. My name is Fatima. I've had the pleasure to meet a lot of you of the renewal students that are coming back, for this academic year. And for those of you that I haven't had the pleasure to meet, welcome. You're gonna get to hear a lot from a lot of the members of our team, but particularly from Christina and myself. We're gonna be the ones that are gonna be reaching out to you to ask you to submit those documents. And in other words, you're gonna be seeing a lot of our emails coming through, sometimes text, just to kind of remind you that there is deliverables coming up in order for you to be able to receive your money. So just to share a little bit about myself, for those of you that don't know me, I am also an OFCV alumni. I received a scholarship as yourself when I was going through my undergrad. I graduated here in the Valley from Castillo City High School. I then went on to College of the Desert, where I received my associate's degree and then transferred out to Cal State Fullerton. So I'm very happy to be here today and to know that a lot of what you're doing today is something that I've done in the past. I received a scholarship for the 4 years, and I had to do this step that I'm about to go through with you 4 times. So every year that I received a scholarship, I had to do this step. And trust me, I'm right there with you. Every year I ask myself, do I really need to do this? Do they really need this? We do. Now that I'm on the other side, I can tell you we do. and you need it as much as we do. You want to submit your documents as much as we do, and I will tell you why as we go through the documents that you will need to submit. Before we go into those, I just wanted to tell you just a quick overview. How do you get your money? How are you going to be getting your scholarship? There's 4 simple steps that you need to follow in order to do that. You already got the scholarship awarded. Now it's a matter of how do I get the money in, my bank account or in my school. So the first step that we ask you to please help us do is to submit required documents to Dropbox. We will be sending you an email following this webinar in the next couple of weeks, where we're going to list all of the documents that we talk about today, along with the abbreviations of how you should name them before you upload them to Dropbox. So don't feel like you need to be taking notes right now. We just want you to understand what the document is and what it is that we're asking you. So you will be receiving, again, a copy of this presentation and, again, a list of all the documents that you need. So, and the Dropbox link. We can go back to the other one, Christina. Another thing that you will have to complete as well would be your one-on-one meetings with Christina. For those of you that already turned in and signed your student award agreement, which we would go over in a few minutes, you would have noticed there that you are required to meet with us 1 time per term. So for those of you that are semester, you will be meeting, twice at least, and then for those of you that are on a quarter term, you will be meeting 3 times each quarter. And this is just going to be a 30-minute conversation with, one of the OFCV team members, where we're going to go over some of your documents, how you're doing, check in, and try to troubleshoot any issues that you may have. The third step would be to continue to stay as a full-time student. That means for most colleges, that means you have to be enrolled in 12 units, but we recommend that you check with your particular institution. If you're in a particular program that considers you, some of our nursing students run into this, where for them being full-time student means 9 units. If that's what your program or your school determines as full-time, we will respect that. So make sure that you check with them what full-time means for them. And then we also, ask you to maintain the required GPA of a 2.5 or above for our renewal students. And then a 2.0 or above for a new student. So if we can get to the next slide, we're going to go over the documents that you will be submitting to Dropbox in the next upcoming weeks. So for this one, it's just, I know it seems like a lot, trust me, it's very easy documents to get into, to get out there. So it's not going to take you any more than 1 or 2 hours to do that. And what you're going to get in exchange is your scholarship check. So it's going to be good. The first document, just really quick on this slide, I just wanted to show you, it's 9 documents for the renewal. And that is if you haven't uploaded your official transcript from this the past 2019-2020 academic year. So whatever grades you got from your spring that just passed, you will need to submit those if you haven't done so. If you already did, then you don't have to worry about it. For a new student, you will be submitting a total of 8 documents. All right, so we can go to the next slide. So your first document is the one that I mentioned earlier, is the scholarship award agreement, or how we call it in OFCV, the SAA. This is the document, should have been a 3-page document that you received from one of the members of our team or from one of the partners that is, providing for your scholarship. You need to submit this document. This is the first document that we need from you in order to know that you accepted the scholarship. So there's a few things that you need to make sure that you complete when you submit the last 2 pages of that packet. So one would be obviously that you accept the OneFuture scholarship. You can see at the bottom it says decline. So make sure that you do select the right one. And then also to initial each one of those lines that specifies pretty much what we're going over, that you will submit the documents that we're asking you for, that you will attend, the events that we put up, such as this one, and that you will meet with our team at least 1 per semester, 1 per term, academic term. So make sure that you initial all of those, and then on the bottom part, this is very important, we need you to please verify what school you would be attending. Some of you might have said that you were attending one school when you first applied to the scholarship, but things have changed and you might have changed your mind and are going to a different school, we need to know that. So please make sure that you fill that out along with your student ID number, because that is what your school uses in order to release the money to you. So make sure that's very important that your ID number and your school and your major are all listed in there. And of course, make sure that you sign it and that you date it. The same thing applies to the timeline. That is the last page in the packet that you receive along with the scholarship award agreement. Again, it's the same thing that you just initial on this first page. The only thing that changes is that it breaks it down a little more specific for you. So make sure you sign that one as well and you submit those two documents. As you can see, the highlighted text on the top of the screen, that is the format that we ask you to use when you name your documents. So in my case, Fatima Salcedo, I would be naming my document Salcedo /Fatima /SAA, because that's the abbreviation for Student Scholarship Award Agreement, and then 2021, because that is the academic cohort that we're currently on. Okay, so we just, that will make it a lot easier for us on our end, to make sure that we put this in the correct folder for your file. Moving on. So we can move to the next one, Christina. I know I might be going a little bit fast, and there's a few questions that will be coming up and that are coming up on our Q&A feature. So some of our team members might be asking or might be replying to some of those if they have the answers. But just know that at the very end, we would pause and make sure that we address those questions or that we send you the answers following up this webinar, all right? The second document that we would ask you to submit is your high school transcript. Again, a lot of you already submitted your high school transcript when you applied for the scholarship, and that's okay. What we need now is a complete high school transcript. That means we need your last spring semester that you took in high school to be showing your grades and your GPA. Because when you applied to the scholarship back in January, March, or any of those months, you were still going through school, you were still going through the spring, so technically you still didn't have your grades posted. So we ask you that you please, submit those high school transcripts again so that we make sure that we have your complete high school on file. For those of you that are renewal students and you've submitted those in the past, we will most likely have them on file. I would just say, just send them again just to make sure that we have it, but make sure that they are complete. If for whatever reason we don't find your high school system complete, we will reach out to you to make sure that you send it to us updated. All right. And then the next document that we need to submit would be your class schedule for the upcoming fall. So we want to know that you are a full-time student, that you're going to be enrolled with a full-time status with your institution. So we ask you to send a screenshot of your classes or your unofficial transcript, something that shows that this is the class schedule for the fall 2020, and that is how many classes you're taking, and make sure that it shows the units. A lot of the times we get the class schedule from students, but it's not showing the units. So we have to ask you to submit it again. And again, keep on looking at the top of this, the bottom of the screen, the highlighted text that is going to tell you how to name each of these documents when uploading them to Dropbox. This next one is a financial aid award letter. This one you're going to get from your student portal from your college or university. All right, so you're going to log on into your student portal, whether, whatever university or college you're at, and you're going to go and check your financial aid. This looks different for everyone. Each school has a different format. Some look very different, some look very similar. So make sure that you look for whatever tells you that that's your financial aid award detail, financial aid award letter, something along those lines. But really what we're looking for is a summary of the financial aid that you have been awarded for the whole academic year. So we want to see what you're getting for the 2021 academic year in terms of financial aid. So make sure that it lists your scholarships, your Pell Grant, if you're eligible for those, any scholarships, from outside that you might have gotten, any loans or work study. You should be able to get a summary within your student portal that lists all of that. So we ask you that you send that out to us, and that is because we want to make sure that when we meet with you, during the summer and starting the fall for that first one-on-one meeting, that we can review this with you and make sure that you are in fact getting the money that you are eligible for. a lot of the times we forget that, by not going into the web grants for students website, which is where we accept the Call Grant, we're not accepting it, we're not getting it. So we've had a lot of cases where students come and they have a big gap between what they need in order to complete their cost of attendance. And when we looked at their financial aid award letter, we realized that they don't have a Call Grant listed. And why is that? Because they never went into the website to say, I accept, or to send their transcript. Or it's something very small that sometimes they keep you from receiving up to $12,000, up to $6,000, depending where you're attending and what you qualify for. So again, these documents, we ask you that you send them in just so that we can help you review them, and that we can help you, notice if there's anything that you might be missing or that you might be benefited from. Seeing if we can go to the next slide. Thank you. Now the next document, this is your FAFSA or your DREAM Act application. Once you submit your application for the 2020-2021 academic year, FAFSA or DREAM Act will populate a PDF, what they call the Student Aid Report for FAFSA or SAR, and what they call the Call SAR for the DREAM Act. So you will have to log into your FAFSA and download this PDF. It's about 7 to 8 pages long, 5 to 8 pages are right long. So you will need to submit that one. And we would then ask you following up if you might need to submit a verification, that would be kind of on a one-on-one basis with you if you have been flagged for verification with FAFSA. But we would worry about that once we get to that. But for now, we just ask you to submit the STAR or the Call STAR, whatever you apply to Dropbox as well. And then another one is your California Student Aid Commission, your award detail. We're looking for, this is your Call Grant when you log into your web grants for students. And again, for some of you that are freshmen, incoming freshmen, this might sound a little familiar. What's web grants? How do I log in? We're here to help you, and we hope that if that is a question that you have, that you will reach out to us and we can help you troubleshoot how to log into this. But for those of you that are familiar, this is where you would go, the web grants for students, and you would be going into the tab that says view my award detail. We're only asking for the award detail. It's going to look very similar to what you're seeing right now. Just make sure that you select the right year that's what we're looking for, the 2021. It changes every year, so we just ask that you send us the most updated one for this one. And then we're almost getting to the end. I promise. I know it's a lot of documents, but trust me, logging into FAFSA and downloading the PDF and then dragging it into Dropbox is not going to take you any more than 5 minutes. This is probably the one that is going to take you the longest, the thank you letter, but it's probably the one that you're going to get the most out of it. We ask you that, as we encourage students to, every time you receive a scholarship, and even when you don't, that you you send your donor or whoever is giving you the scholarship. So we ask that you write a thank you letter for your funder, your scholarship funder, just at least a paragraph, just, say thank you for this and how it's going to be impacting you and why this is important for you. Trust me, this thank you letters can come a long way, and this can be the key for someone to eventually say, I remember this student, that sent me the thank you letter, and let me see what he's doing, we need an intern, or whatever the case is. So make sure that you spend some time on that. And then the final question, where do I submit my documents? I've been mentioning Dropbox. We will provide you with a link that is going to take you to a web page that is going to look like this. You're going to click on it, and it's going to take you straight to your desktop or your phone. All these documents, let me just say, you can just take a picture, you can download the PDF, you can take screenshots with your phone. As long as they're clear and we can read them and they're legible, I think we should be okay with those. So don't think that you have to go to whatever to get to scan the documents, or that you need to go and have a copy or a printer in order to do this. You can always take pictures, and we'll take that for sure. And then the next one, Christina, just a few reminders. I don't know if you want to join us. I think we're getting close to the end of the requirements for the scholarship.
Yes, thank you, Fatima, so much for walking us through the requirements. And I just want to say, Fatima was once in your shoes, and now she's working with us. And honestly, she is a great resource for every one of you to use. So please, yeah, you'll be seeing a lot of me and Fatima. And in terms of reminders, we just wanted to put these up. I won't go over them. We will be sharing the PDF with you all so you guys can revisit it again. And during the one-on-ones, we can also remind you of them. So these are just a few of the things that we thought would be important to include and that you can review and then let us know if you have any questions. And before we get to this part, I think we have about probably 10 more minutes, and I'm sorry because I know we promised to stay on. We will stay on a little bit longer if you guys want to have questions after the fact. I think we're running a little bit late. So we'll try to get, I think, about 5 minutes worth of PowerPoint content through. As I mentioned earlier in the conversation, we have the theme of transcending adversity and cultivating leadership. And part of you developing your own skills is, as we transition into this vision board, is going to be for you to obviously work on financial aid, academic preparation, all of the above. And what Fatima just went through right now was a piece of the financial aid. So this is only a piece of your education, right? But we put a leadership conference together because there's so many other pieces that are going to be important to you, to your development, and to your journey. And so as we're giving you all this information, we're condensing it, in half an hour, 45 minutes. It's a lot. We wanted to encourage you to reflect as you're hearing different students, as you're hearing from our team, our OneFuture team, as you're hearing from graduates or even the community partners that are going to be speaking to you during this next month and the next 14 sessions, what it is that you envision for yourself. And one of the things that we thought would be awesome was for you guys to begin a vision board, whether it's a vision board that you do physically or something that you do online or in your journal, so that you can start writing down what you want to do and you can start visualizing it. And so basically a vision board is a tool that helps you kind of lay out your dreams and then kind of follow through on them. And so one of the tasks that we wanted to give you throughout the next 14 sessions is that every time you attend a session, pick 1 or 2 things that you were inspired with and that you're going to commit to finishing and completing. And this is your vision board. This is your journey. So this is your accountability. When you put it down, ask yourself in the morning when you're waking up or you wake up and you revisit it, am I working towards a goal that I'm setting for myself? And so we thought it was really important because I think a lot of the times, I know for myself, we're going and we don't pause to reflect. So we're hoping that this will be a reflecting moment for you, or a moment of reflection that'll help guide you as you navigate your education and professional development. So that I'm not going to go through every piece of it again, like I said, because of the time, but please look at some of the tools and please email us and let us know if you have questions about, certain apps online that you can use, because you can do this on Canva. You can get as creative as you'd like. So without further ado, here too, we've got like 3 or 4 more slides. I wanted to bring Luis, who is also on our team and is also an alumni, and who wanted to ask another question of you all, because as we move forward into the year and in our planning, we want to know what gaps there might be and that we can help fill for you or make available to you. So Luis, I don't know if you want to turn on your camera and kind of walk us through this and invite them to answer the question.
Sure. So thank you, Cristina. Like Cristina mentioned, my name is Luis Rojas. I'm also a worker along with OneFuture Coachella Valley and oversee the scholarship component. I'm a local product of the community. I grew up in Coachella. I graduated from Coachella Valley High School. I attended college at Desert and eventually transferred out to California State University, San Bernardino, where I earned my bachelor's degree in psychology. So I decided to come back to the Valley and really make a difference. And luckily, I was fortunate enough to work for OneFuture since 2017. It's been an honor, but not without further ado, I just wanted to know, how can OneFuture help you out? I know that COVID-19 has really made a dramatic change in our school system, how students has impacted how it's impacted students work-wise, it's your families. So we wanted to know, as a student, what are your biggest needs during the 2021 academic year? And if you can please answer in the chat box, we want to know how can OneFuture support you for the next upcoming academic year, whether it's internships, resources, job opportunities, anything we can help you out with. We want to know how can we help you out. So if you can please, we'll give you about a minute or two. If you can start submitting your responses to this question in the chat box, I would greatly appreciate it.
And as they're answering those questions at question 2, Luis, maybe we can tell them about the giveaway after the 14 sessions or the 7 that they're required to attend.
So as Christina mentioned, we're doing a giveaway. In order to be part of this giveaway and be able to qualify for this giveaway, you must attend 7 workshops and 7 sessions. So we're requesting every single student they must complete 7 sessions in order to qualify for the session. But also I would highly recommend it, even without a giveaway, I would highly recommend it that you take advantage of these opportunities, whether it's professional development, whether it's savings workshop, whether it's a mission, personal mission statement, which really getting to know what you really want to do. Take advantage of these opportunities that OneFuture Coachella Valley is offering you, because I wish I had this opportunity 10 years ago when I graduated from high school. So really take advantage of this opportunity, and if you can complete the 7 sessions, do it. Make an effort, make a commitment to yourself. Make an effort for your student development to really increase your chances of winning something, but also increase your chances of developing professionally as a student. So I really do look forward to working with every single one of you, and hopefully we'll be keeping track of every single student that has been part of the 7 sessions. So just make sure to be part of those 7 sessions in order to enter the giveaway. And also make sure to follow us at our social media. So for our main account, for OneFuture, follow us at onefuturecv.org. Also for our scholarship recipients, please make sure to follow us at OneFutureCV 21, and make sure to follow it, because we'll be posting important information. We're trying to connect with you the most we can, virtually. Instagram, this is the first time we're doing Instagram. So we really want you to connect, and also follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn as well.
Thank you, Luis. And I see that the students are answering and they are using the chat feature. And I do appreciate it. And I know OneFuture appreciates it greatly, because this is how we tailor our services and our work. If you tell us, there's a gap in this, then that's how we tailor our work to help you. And chances are, if you're going through these difficult moments or you have these gaps, other people are also experiencing them. So by sharing them, you're also helping others. So if you want to continue and keep those coming, I think we have like 2 more slides to go, and then we're going to open it up for additional questions, and we'll go from there. Before we end, I just want to thank the Anderson's Children's Foundation, because they were so generous and they made this possible today. And then you'll have our contact information for additional questions.